Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. I hope this is working because I'm not going to try it again. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. It's William here, and I just got in from the gym. It's 9:15 Easter Sunday, so I hope you're having a lovely bank holiday weekend. I thought, just coming from the gym, I'm going out later, so I'm going to make some breakfast and talk about a few bits and pieces because why the hell not? I can. It's free world at the end of the day. Usually for breakfast on the weekends, it will be eggs, bacon. We got lots of baked beans, so we do a tin of baked beans, and normally would do bread. Don't know if I've got any in the freezer. And yes, I do have my bread in the freezer, only because I literally never have bread. I will never have bread. Literally the only times I'll have bread is when, well, I'm having English breakfast. How many crumbs? We'll stick that in there. Happy days. Now, when it comes to food, I think one of the biggest myths that we need to get out of here, and by the way, I just want to say, if you're asking for qualifications in terms of nutrition or anything like that, or literally all I have is a personal training cert, and I'm going off my own, like my own research and the stuff that I follow personally. So you can choose to follow it if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. I don't care. But this is what works for me. When I did my personal training cert, they literally said, base your meals off carbs. In my opinion, that is completely wrong, and you should never base your meals that you eat on a daily basis off carbs. So basically things like pasta, they want you to base your meal off pasta or bread. That is the biggest load of bollocks in my life. Like, that is one of the worst bits of advice when it comes to nutrition that you can follow. My personal opinion, and I think a lot of people would agree on me with me on this, base your meals off good quality protein sources. So chicken, meat, fish. If you're vegan, then I guess beans, lentils, all that sort of stuff. Well, I don't really know because I'm not vegan. And good fats. So we're talking about proper butter, like a cube of butter, avocados, nuts, those sort of things. That's what you want to be basing it off of. And for me personally, this is not advice that you may or may not want to follow. For me personally, I have carbs at the, like, before working out and after working out. And don't get me wrong, I like days where I like to have a bit of a cheat meal, and at the end of the day, I love food, right? And you know, I'm not that responsible when it comes to food, but I like to eat proper whole foods. Like, say for example, the worst thing I'll eat is honey. You know, normally I have organic honey, but my mum got me this, so I'm not going to turn it down. And the thing is, right, I live by myself. Usually beforehand, if you've watched any of my previous videos before, I used to live with my mum, and now, well, my family. And now I've got to buy stuff myself, all right? And I'm not gonna lie, things are quite expensive, all right? But I can get my weekly shop for one person under 50 quid, all right? And pretty much everything that I buy is healthy. So if I can do it, you can do it too, all right? So let's get on with this. This is probably gonna cause issues. We'll put that one there. There we go. So normally for my breakfast, I usually have a lot of eggs. I usually go, normally I'll have 4 eggs. I don't know why I'm doing my eggs first because I need to do the bacon, so hold on 1 second. Usually I have 4 to 6 eggs. Only recently I've only started having like 6 eggs. That would be 6 eggs by itself, but seeing as, well, I'm going to be going out tonight or later this afternoon, so I think I'm still going to have a lot of eggs, but I'm also going to have a few other bits and pieces, like things like beans that I would argue probably aren't that great for you, especially like Heinz baked beans, because of the sauce that's in. It's full of sugar and probably not the greatest thing to be having, but I enjoy it, so I'm going to eat it, and I'm not really doing a lot today, so why not? See, this is the thing when it comes to food, in my personal opinion, is that if you're mindful about what you're eating, it's not that bad. I mean, when I go to work, I like to be on top of things. I like to be I like to be focused. I like to be energized throughout the day. So that's why personally for me, when I'm like working throughout the day, I don't eat carbs. I like to think I eat properly, and I'll tell you what I have for breakfast or have for around 10 o'clock or when I get into work. It depends how hungry I am, because sometimes I get in and I'm quite hungry. So when I get into work, I will have, get out of the cupboard, sardines, right? And people absolutely slate me for having these, but these are probably the greatest things that you can eat. If you can stand the smell and the taste, so they're pretty bland and they're not the greatest. However, these contain 20 grams of protein, all your omega-3s, so you don't need to be buying tablets, and they only cost 50p a tin. You have one of these a day, happy days, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, you probably shouldn't be having them every day, but I personally do. So at the end of the day, it's your choice. You can do what you want. I don't need to. You don't need me telling you what to do. It's what I personally do, and it works for me. So when it comes to cooking eggs or cooking anything, in fact, I cook in butter. I love butter, and I don't cook in anything else. I don't use olive spreads or anything like that. I use proper butter, which is, yes, more expensive, however, so much more healthier for you. And one thing, or one resource I would definitely highly recommend that anyone watches, if you have the time, is there's a YouTube documentary, and it's called Carb Loaded. And literally the first video that comes up, it's like an hour and a half long. I don't know why I'm going in here, because I don't need to go in there. But anyways, it talks about how so many people nowadays are so, to be quite frank, so overweight because of various different reasons. Because one, we've been told the wrong information regarding food, like we should be basing our meals off carbs, which is not true. Because if you go back hundreds of years, not even like 100 years ago, everyone would be eating fats and protein. You wouldn't eat carbs. And now in the last 40, 50 years, the narrative's changed where they've said, right, you want to be eating carbs, and it's like, you see how society is nowadays. It is, well, we're an overweight society, to be quite frank. It's a very interesting documentary, and some of the principles that I've heard in it, I'm definitely going to be implementing in my life, definitely. And one of the things that I implement is eating whole foods. And yeah, you can say it's expensive and it's not that convenient. I get that. I mean, I live a busy life. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I go to work. I'm at work for 7. I work till 4. Commute to the gym. I'm in the gym for an hour. That just squirted. Jesus. I'll do 5 eggs today. You know, I come back, I have dinner. At that point, I'm usually crashed out. And that's at 7 o'clock, you know. But the thing is, I still have time to cook. And I hate to say it, but I think a lack of time is inexcusable. Like, everyone's got time. Like, don't kid yourself. You've just got to make the time and figure out what's a priority to you. And for me, personally, my health is probably the most important thing. So we've got them on. I need a plate. Got a plate there. And we want knife and fork. And I tell you what, when it comes to a breakfast, one thing that I do love to eat, drink more like, is coffee. Every weekend I'll have coffee, right? And I don't know what it is, but just coffee in the morning, it just hits different. It's lovely. So they are cooking rather nicely, I must admit. Chuck that away. I've got to do the beans as well. So this is where it gets a bit hectic. I'm like, got a lot to do. And again, I would argue that beans aren't that healthy for you. I don't think they are. I mean, they're better than having things like beans is better than having a donut. Don't get me wrong, but they're not that. There are better things that you could have in the morning. I mean, I listen to what a lot of Eddie Abu says, and I know a lot of people don't like what he says. I get it, but I like his message of eat whole food, eat proper food, because I think personally it's true. You should be eating proper whole foods. It should be the basis of your diet. Where it gets, I think, a bit sticky with that whole whole foods narrative is like, he talks about a lot of carbs and stuff, and like say you shouldn't be eating fruit, which I get because you got a lot of fructose in fruit, a lot of carbs, a lot of sugars, good sugars, but still a lot of sugars. Having that in the morning is going to potentially make you feel a bit lethargic and maybe not make you feel as great. And I think if you go back in history, and again, I could be wrong here, so don't quote me. Back in the day, we used to only eat fruit at certain times of the year. It wouldn't be a normal thing to be having fruit all the time. So it's more seasonal. And I think that's where kind of like the issues have arisen, and why we shouldn't really be having fruit all the time. But I'm not gonna lie, I love a banana, so I'm gonna have a banana. Right, so that's in. That's nearly done. Pour my coffee out. Right, that's done. Look at that. Tell you what, one of the best investments that I made is an air fryer. In fact, my mum gave it to me, but bacon, lovely. 9 minutes. It's splendid. I rarely use my oven. I literally only use it now for when I'm meal prepping large quantities of food, and that's really it. That's done. Happy days. Put that in there. And when it comes to food, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about presentation, because at the end of the day, it's just going down my gob anyway. So it is what it is. Boom, boom, boom. And another little tip for you: when you are cooking eggs, I personally cook in I don't think this is a cast iron, this is just a stainless steel pan, right? If you put enough fat in it, look, there's barely any egg left over, and it's so much easier to wash. You need to, if you're using a steel or steel pan, you need to properly fatten it up, because otherwise you're gonna have bits left over. So that's done. Beans, and that is breakfast served. I mean, come on, you can't tell me that is not banging. That is lovely. I'm telling you, I tell everyone this. I tell the girls, I tell my mates, my work colleagues, I cook the best eggs, and no one will take that away from me. I cook the best. Put a bit of salt and pepper on. Happy days. That is solid, and that will last me till lunchtime. That will. Turn all that off. So yeah, I'm going to sit down and enjoy this, and I hope you enjoyed me just ranting, but I just wanted to create this little video, and I'm probably going to do more like this in the future. And if you don't like it, that's alright. You can fuck off if you want, in a respectful way. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy your Easter Sunday, which this probably won't be uploaded on Easter Sunday anyways. But I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy your day. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.